Hey everybody, Portable Bobby here. This is the way I see it. I want to thank my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. I also appreciate my viewers. I'd like to ask you to subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. My PayPal information is in the link below if you'd like to donate. Michelle at Forbidden Information and I are going to be going to D.C. in September for several days for a pro-life conference, and we're going to get the opportunity to talk to some of these government officials and maybe get some answers, and at least get the word out there that pro-life is the only way to be. Michelle and I are pro-life, and we always will be. So check out Michelle at Forbidden Information. She's got some really great content. And I also want you to check out the Chrissy Ann Show. She has a really good show going, and she's growing. And I'd like to ask you to look at these two and subscribe to both of them. And while you're subscribing, I want you to go ahead and go to Tony Patriot. Tony Patriot comes live on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. and he's got really good content. It's great interaction between him and the people in the comments, and it's just a great show. He's a true patriot, so check him out. I want you to check out Disabled Vet's Perspective. Alex and Belinda have a show on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. and I'm going to tell you, it's well worth watching, even if you're not a veteran. It's always good to be informed. But if you're a veteran, or you know a veteran, or you have a loved one that's a veteran, let them know about Disabled Vet's Perspective on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. because they bring great news and content that has to do pretty much strictly with our veterans in the VA. So check them out. One last thing. Florida Jim. I love Florida Jim. He's a good friend of mine. But I'll tell you what, if you want a good laugh, check him out. He's got good content, but he'll make you laugh too. Today I want to talk about Scott Peterson. He's a former Broward County Deputy Sheriff and School Resource Officer at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. We're all aware of that. We all know what happened. He faces 11 charges of neglect of a child and culpable negligence and perjury. On February 14th, Valentine's Day 2018, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz entered the high school intent on murdering his fellow students. Cruz murdered 17 faculty and students and wounded 17 others. It became the worst school shooting in American history. People, I don't understand how this killer even made it into the school. There was another type of police officer there. He wasn't actually a police officer. He was employed by the school district, but he was there for safety of the children. And he admitted that he had seen Cruz get out of an Uber and walk into the school with a large bag. But he did nothing. He said nothing. Just a few minutes later, children and faculty started to die. Cruz opened gunfire with a semi-automatic rifle. Witnesses identified Cruz as the assailant. After talking to the police, they realized Cruz had simply dropped his weapon and mingled in with the other students who were running for their lives, and out the door he went. Well, he was caught about an hour later, and he admitted to the shooting. He didn't deny any of it. But we're not here to talk about Cruz. We're here to talk about Scott Peterson. This ex-deputy, Scott Peterson, 56 years old, did not protect the students, and he cowered outside as shots rang out inside the school. Peterson claimed he didn't know where the shots were coming from, so he did nothing at all but hide himself and prove that he is a coward. Video footage showed Peterson hiding outside the school while 17 children and staff were being murdered. After the investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Peterson was arrested. The investigation clearly showed Peterson did absolutely nothing to prevent the shooting or to protect the student and faculty. There's no excuse for Peterson's complete inaction, and no doubt his inactions caused some of the deaths of those 17 people. I'm sick to my stomach about Peterson. He never entered the school. He should have went in that school, confronted Cruz, even at the cost of his own life. That's what he is there for. He is dedicated to protect and serve, and he did nothing but cower down. It's terrible, people. Peterson lied when he said he thought the shots were coming from outside rather than inside the school. I'll tell you, as a veteran, I've shot a lot of weapons. I've done a lot of range shooting, indoor and outdoor. And I've heard shots from outside as I was in the parking lot of these gun ranges. And I'm going to tell you, gunfire from inside a building sounds totally different than gunfire on the outside. Just plain and simple, that's the way it is. He's a liar. This 33-year veteran said it wasn't fear that kept him outside, it was chaos. He said, those are my kids in there, and I would never sat there and let my kids be slaughtered. Never, he said, I would never do that. But you did, Peterson. You did. Video footage showed that you never even attempted to enter the school, and it shows you hiding from danger. You're a liar and a coward, and a person responsible for at least some of those innocent people that died because you did nothing. Peterson is the coward of Broward County and is directly responsible for some of the deaths. I say that because of his being a coward. Peterson should have entered that school and confronted the shooter, even at the cost of his own life. 33-year-old police veteran is a disgrace to every police agency and gives all police a bad name. It's my opinion that the coward of Broward should rot in jail for the rest of his natural life. Peterson deserves miserable life in prison. I'm 100% convinced that Peterson, if he had done something, he could have prevented at least some of those people from dying. He must be convicted and sent to prison for life because of his cowardice. You know, that was a terrible day. And he did absolutely nothing except hide. It was his duty to enter that school and to gauge that shooter. But he was so scared and so afraid that he took cover to protect himself. And he is responsible for some of those people dying. It's just plain and simple. There can be no excuse for his complete inaction. And no doubt he showed his cowardice on that day. This man was a 33-year veteran with the police department. I wonder how many other times during that 33 years he showed his cowardice, but nobody said anything. Because people, if you're a coward after 33 years of service, you're a coward on your first day of service. A coward is a coward, plain and simple. If this has been in the military, you'd be court-martialed and in prison. You're a disgrace, not only to the police in America, but you're a disgrace to all humanity. I don't know how you sleep at night. I'm just glad you're sleeping on a jail bunk wearing an orange jumpsuit. People, it's deplorable, Bobby. And this is the way I see it. Remember our children. Pray for those who were wounded at the Parkland shooting. We talk a lot of times about those who died, but we seldom talk about the survivors and their horrific struggle to recover from being shot. Okay, people. Pray for those people. Pray for our children, the exploited and the trafficked and the abused and the aborted. Pray for them all. Pray for each other. My name's Deplorable Bobby, and this is the way I see it. Y'all have a good day.